Well, welcome back to the True Blue Everton podcast with myself, Alan Myers, and my co-presenter, Tony Grant, former Everton, Burnley, and Manchester City midfielder. Tony, it's good to see you again. We've got a bit of a double header tonight because we're looking back at Fulham. What a great win
Yeah,
that was,
yeah,
and forward to the game against Bournemouth. So a quick turnaround for
yeah.
the squad and for David Moyes. Just on that, how was it when you had these quick turn? I mean, I know it's not that quick a turnaround, Saturday to Tuesday, but it is, thick and fast, isn't it? What was it like when as a player?
I think it's just recovery, Al. I mean, nowadays it's much easier nowadays than back in my time. There's more staff. But when you're winning games of football, Al, you can't wait for the next game to come. So I think the Everton players will be looking forward to Tuesday.
Yeah, and as you say, it is about recovery, isn't it? And the good news is today, I actually was at the David Moyes press conference for Sky, and he says apart from Jack Grealish, there's no injuries. Which is probably the first time he's been able to say that for a good time. I think.
Yeah,
Um,
we've had a,
you
we've
know,
had
s-
a we've had a good bout of it all at once, didn't we?
yeah, yeah,
But it's
the
so
whole
it's nice that
December, January. Mm.
yeah, so it's nice that it's there's only Jack now missing.
Yeah. We let's go back to Fulham. You said when we did our preview to Fulham that you believed they'd win.
Yeah.
I felt they'd win as well. They didn't quite do it in the way we probably thought they'd have done it, but
Well,
this
I think you'll find that they actually done it the way I thought to do it. Al,
really.
I thought we'd find it tough early on. I said Fulham would have the ball and play into our hands, and as the game wore on, I think they ran out of ideas. And Everton done a typical Everton away performance that we've seen a few times this year now.
I think you did say that. No, I remember. Don't
Yeah,
remember. Yeah, you did say that. Yeah. Um, Look, what is it about this team? There is a resilience, isn't there, in the team?
I think it is a team. I think that all season, whether even when the chips are being down and the performance hasn't started great. We talked about the Leeds game last week. They probably went in at half time with the heads really low, but
Mm.
they came out second half, changed the shape over, and were quite dominant second half. Got the goal and could have went on to win it. And then obviously then you go to Fulham. Fulham will have a lot of ball early on, But as a team, Everton look very together, and it looks like they've got a way. They know they can win a game of football, which is
Mm.
really, it's powerful.
Yeah, I spoke to David Moyes today about mentality and culture, and whether that, how big a part that played um, in the way that we've seen the turnaround. I mean, when he took over, we were 2 points away from the relegation zone. We're now 2 points away from a guaranteed European place. And that is some turnaround when you stand back and look at it and say, what have we achieved in the 12 months? Um, and I asked him about mentality. How big a thing has a part that's played in what David Moyes has done is changing the culture, changing the mentality.
I think he's filled them with confidence as well. Al. Um, it's not just he took over Dice. Dice has got a certain way about him, how his teams play. It looked a bit dour at times. The inspiration wasn't coming from Dyche for the players, and I think Moyes coming in on the back of Dyche, I think he had an instant uplift. A different voice at the right time, and then it's just gone on from strength to strength. But we have bought some decent players in. We bought Jack in the summer, and obviously Kieran's been outstanding, hasn't he? Really, and we've got the goalkeeper's fantastic. We've actually got some really We've got some real top players that have come through this year, and now they're winning games of football. So the mentality sort of it all helps each other. It all helps in different ways. The voice from Moyes and the staff,
Like a
and then
snowball
winning them
effect.
games of football. Yeah, like a snowball effect, and the confidence. The fans are happy, and now we're looking up rather than looking down at the moment, aren't we?
Yeah. And you mentioned KDH, Dewsbury Hall. And again, he showed, didn't he, at Fulham, what a good player he is. And,
Yeah.
someone sort of text me and said, he's as good as Declan Rice. I mean, I don't know, is he that level yet at this point?
Well, I don't know, but start of the season, I remember Keiran when he first came, and I said that certain players need a home
Mm,
because you can be a nomad and travel round, and not really your potential doesn't come out. So when he left Leicester and he went to Chelsea, his potential sort of got left on the
mm,
shelf because he weren't
yeah.
playing games of football. I thought when he came to us that was the perfect fit for him,
Mm,
and he took it on. And I think Everton's now his home. And
mm,
it's for the next few years, I think we're going to see performances improve and more goals and more assists. On games when he's not scoring or making, you'll see him running back and making tackles. I really do believe this is his home.
mm,
What we're getting now is potential starting to come out. All the potential that the reason why Chelsea bought him is now starting to, everyone can see it, which is why he's getting linked with what you're saying there. Like, is he as good as a Declan Rice? And I don't really want to get into that argument because Declan Rice is a fantastic footballer. But
of course, yeah.
before he came
Mm,
to Everton, no one would have been saying Keiran Dewsbury is as good as Declan Rice, would they? But they are now because he's
no,
found his home and he's
yeah.
playing games of football. Yeah,
Mm. That win was the sixth win on the road, which is fantastic. I think it already eclipses last season with David Moyes. And you look at it and you think, okay, now we've got to get the home form right, and I mean, I was looking at the home form today, and it's not quite as bad as people make out. It's, we've got 4 wins, 4 draws, and
yeah.
4 defeats. And you look at some of those draws, the likes of Aston Villa, where we could have made the difference. I know it's coulda, shoulda, but it's not like we've got a load of defeats.
Yeah,
So what do you think it is? Everyone's racking their brain to try and work out. I heard a term today, would you believe, called what was the acclimatization deficit, right?
brilliant. Yeah.
So this
The
is the new
Weather
one.
Channel. Yeah, go on.
And what happens is, when a team moves to a new stadium, and it's happened apparently, and they say on average it's around 6 points that you drop in the season when you move into a new stadium. Do you think that is an actual factor in this?
Possibly, possibly out. It, the, Everton haven't at home. I think you need your strikers needs to be a top striker is what I think you need, and I think we've had a couple of strikers who have shown glimpses that maybe that are what, especially one of them maybe for the future. But I think when you play away from home, you're normally always the underdog in a way.
Mm,
When you can play an underdog game, you can let the opposition have the ball and be really solid, hoping to nick the ball. And I think Everton have done that a number of times. I remember up at Bournemouth, they've done it. They've done it against Fulham, Villa. So they've done it a number of times, but it's hard at home because the fans are expecting us to be the dominant team with the ball.
mm,
And when you set back in the shape of home, there can be some grumblings, and it's not the same as playing away. But at home, I think, Al, if we'd have had a few more points, you're talking Champions League, not far off
mm.
Champions League.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
we're not doing too bad. If we can improve, what you'll find next year, Al, we'll improve the home form, and the away form won't be as good as next year because
yeah, mm,
whatever that guy said to you today, there'll probably be another word for it next year.
yeah.
You know what I mean? Your second year syndrome. You know what I
Something
mean?
to, yeah, that's
So
right. Yeah,
you're really good at home this year, and then not so much. So when
yeah.
you can marry the both up and be really good, you're
Mm.
fighting for the league title, aren't you? Now we're a
Sorry, go on.
team, and we're a team in transition. We're in a team with a team who's progressing. We've got some good players who've come in, and you know wherever you get your points from, you get your points from. It just happens to be we're better away from home this year, but we'll have a
Mm.
conversation next year and see if it's the same next year.
Yeah, I mean, you mentioned the fans and that pressure at home. Of course, there's another 12,000 every week, isn't there? Every home game than there was at Goodison. So
Yeah.
again, that increases but Moyes made an interesting point today. He said they love playing at the new stadium. They love
Yeah,
everything about it. They're really enjoying it. They're really looked after there.
yeah.
But he thinks that the away teams are
And
also enjoying it.
yeah,
And I thought
well,
that was a good point. And I think that there
yeah.
could be something in that.
I'll definitely. I mean, I've said for years now the West Ham Stadium. I mean,
Mm,
our stadium. We're lucky. Our stadium looks like it's been designed not
Yeah.
far. I mean, it's not Goodison Park, but we understand the idea is to keep that atmosphere
It's got
inside the
features,
stadium.
isn't it? Yeah, it's got
Yeah.
features. Yeah.
Whereas I can understand teams that go to West Ham, and it's like going to watching a game at Wembley back in the
Yeah.
day,
Yeah.
and everyone seems to have hours on the ball, and it's very
Mm.
hard for them to really stamp their authority on games.
Mm.
West Ham teams really enjoy it.
Yeah.
This isn't the same as that. It's not the same, but I understand they can all enjoy it, and it's good that all the Everton lads are enjoying it, all the Everton team are enjoying it. Picking results up home and away, unless you're winning the league or you're coming second and third, there is normally you're either stronger home and average away or less strong. Everton just happens to be the other way round this year,
Mm.
but it wouldn't surprise me if next year it turns like that. Do you know what I understand? And then
Yeah. Yeah.
when we can get the year where they're both similar,
Mm.
but you keep winning games, that's the year we get in the Champions League, Al.
Yeah, because that's something to look forward to. Because but pressure, the advantage of a home game is usually comes from pressure, isn't it? And the pressure of the crowd and the pressure
Yeah.
of, and as you say, maybe Everton are feeling that a little bit in their new stadium as well as the opposition. So yeah, we'll see. But I mean, big game against Bournemouth coming up. We beat Bournemouth 1-0 down there, but I think it's a bit of a different Bournemouth side. They were having a few struggles, I think, when we went down and beat them down there. They weren't as stable as they were last year. Now they are. They seem to be putting. I don't think they've lost in 5 games, or I can't remember exactly their stats, but they're having a good run, that's for sure. It'll be a tough one, won't it, tomorrow?
Yeah, you're going back to we're at home now, aren't we? So
Yeah.
you know the way to Fulham. I really fancied us at Fulham. I still fancy us to beat Bournemouth. Bournemouth will come, full of confidence, as you just said. They've picked up some good points, haven't they? But it's Bournemouth at the end of the day. They've just lost their best player, haven't they? Gone to Man
Yeah,
City, so we've lost the best player.
couple of players.
And I
Wissa.
think Everton are very
No,
professional
that
this
was
year.
Brentford. What am I talking about? Sorry.
Yeah, Everton are very
No.
professional this year, and we have got match winners, in
Mm.
Keiran and especially in Ndai. We have got some, and we've got most of the players back now.
Mm.
I'm if we win on Tuesday, we just I think we end up sixth maybe. Um,
Yeah,
I'm fully expecting Everton. The fans will be behind the team. Like we played Leeds the other week, didn't we? We were there, and all of a sudden the team needs the fans. The fans were there, and really, we should
yeah,
have went on and won the game. And Leeds
yeah.
have been flying, haven't they? Leeds were the form team when they come to Bramley-Moore. So I'm expecting, yeah, they'll have some nice patterns of play. So we'll see some nice patterns of play. But I think defensively, we're quite good. So I think we can absorb their patterns of play. And again, I think we'll hurt them, and I think we'll beat them.
Yeah, it was Semenyo I was thinking about.
Semenyo, yeah,
I got the wrong name. But yeah, I mean, but as you say, they are a difficult team, to face. But usually down at the Vitality is where
yeah,
the problems come, isn't it? But
yeah,
how do you think Moyes will? I talked to him today again about these. Because of all these players he's got available now, about whether he has a bigger headache in some ways trying to fit them all in. And we've seen it with the 4 centre halves at
yeah.
wherever it was we played the 4 centre. Was it Forest? Anyway, wherever it was. Oh no, it was Brighton. Sorry. And is that an issue? Do you think? I mean, will he try and? I mean, shoehorn's not the right word, but will he try and get Branthwaite in somewhere? And
Well, at the moment, it's Everton defensively. You've got some good players, haven't you?
mm,
You've got Big Jake. Big Jake's been playing right back most of the season.
yeah,
When he's played centre back, I think a lot of us think that's his best position.
yeah,
But he can play right back. The
yeah,
difference is he actually can give it to a good job. Michael Keane's had a decent season. You've got Tarkowski who's solid all the time, and now all of a sudden you've got Jared. Jared's better than a lot of them.
mm,
Jared's a top four player.
yeah,
I want to see Jared playing, but I don't want to see four centre backs playing. If
yeah,
that makes
yeah,
sense,
yeah,
right?
yeah. No, it does. Yeah.
So,
Well, you want your beloved wing backs, don't you, for a start?
well, only because the only way to get Jared in for me is
Straight at the
changing the
back.
formation.
Mm,
Yeah, because otherwise he has to stay on the bench, or
yeah.
you drop Michael Keane, you put him next to Tarkowski. Um, but I want to see Jared Brantwaite starting the game. I think Mikalenko will start, and
Mm.
I think he's a fullback. So I think Moyes will want to play with wingers, and they'll be out. And whether the big one's going to be whether Tyreek plays or
Yeah,
starts the game,
yeah,
you
yeah.
know, I think he'll be on the bench personally, but I don't know.
You've almost you've got the the manager's got the excuse, not an excuse, but the line that okay, Jared's still coming back and it needs to
Yeah,
be done slowly. But there's going to be a time, isn't there, soon when Jared
yeah,
Branthwaite is expecting to start, and wants to start,
yeah. Jared Branthwaite should be playing, but you're right.
Mm.
Um, that excuse is there, whether it's an excuse or what. But at some stage, he has to be one of your starting players because the kid's
Mm.
fantastic footballer, so he has to play. But whether that's this week, whether that's for Tuesday, we don't know. But we are on the back of a great victory away from home, aren't we? So I think whatever Moyes goes with, we all have to. We're all right behind it because we have just beat Fulham away from home.
Yeah,
Um,
and we can go sixth.
and we could
Yeah,
go sixth. Yeah.
yeah.
So, but Everton's best team eventually, you could have people like Keiran Dewsbury-Hall, Endai on the wing. You got the goalie, and you got Pickford. There's four players there who
Branthwaite.
arguably get in
Mm.
anyone's team.
Yeah.
And
Mm.
we haven't said that for a long time. Al. There's always been
Mm.
maybe one or two,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
we're talking top level players here.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Mm.
No, it's an interesting time, and it'll be interesting to see what he's. Personally, I think he'll stick with the same team that
Yeah,
started the game against Fulham. I just think he will, but we'll see. Um, well, that's the two games dealt with, Tony, and as usual, we've got our little True Blue Everton podcast blind ranking game to come, and tonight we're going to do managers. A
oh,
couple of them
brilliant.
in
Okay,
who you played for.
yeah,
But we're going to start, and I'm going to start actually with one from not too distant time ago, and that's Roberto Martinez.
yeah.
I've
I
got a pen
mean,
and paper tonight, by the way, as well.
brilliant,
So
Al.
yeah,
Brilliant. Roberto started ever so well, didn't he? Played some
yeah,
exciting football. He inherited a decent team, to be fair,
mm.
but we did play some good football. I think he brought Lukaku to us. Would it be
He
right in
did.
saying he brought Lukaku?
Yeah,
Yeah,
it was it was the. I'd come back to the club at that point, and it was the first transfer window,
yeah,
um, and it was a strange one because it looked really great. There's a nice little story about it. It looked really great at that point
yeah.
in the afternoon, but I'd already, because I didn't know I was coming back to Everton, I already had a holiday booked to Dubai, and
Okay.
I was flying out on transfer deadline day at 7 o'clock.
Wow.
So I've gone on Twitter at the time and said busy, 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 which it
Yeah,
was because there was three players coming,
yeah.
and the fans went crazy. They went mad. And then while I was sat in the airport lounge in Manchester, waiting to get my flight to Dubai, I get a text off the chief executive which says, "Doesn't look like two of those players are going to happen now." And I'm
Okay.
going, "Oh my God!" I'm sort of
Yeah.
sat there, honestly. Tony, it was the worst 7 hours flight I've ever had because I knew when I put my phone back on the next morning when I got to Dubai, I knew what was
Yeah,
coming, if we didn't
yeah,
sign the place. Anyway, it turns out we did get Romelu Lukaku, we did get Gareth Barry, we did
yeah.
get McCarthy. So at one point, McCarthy and Barry were sat in the Esso garage on Higher Road in
Wow.
Hunts Cross. It was a crazy day. So, but yeah,
Well,
as you say, he came in at that point and he brought in some good players.
well, they were there. You just said them three there. I mean, how fantastic are players with them three?
Yeah, all three of them. Yeah,
You know,
yeah,
Gareth Barry was fantastic signing for
yeah,
Everton. He
yeah.
really was.
He reminded me of Paul Powers signing. You remember?
Yeah, in a way, yeah. Yeah, I understand that, yeah. I
Mm,
mean, he was brilliant footballer, Gareth Barry, really was.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
there you
So
go.
Roberto Martinez then. So where does he go in
Okay,
in 1 to 10?
yeah, okay. So I'm gonna put Roberto. I'm gonna put him in maybe seven.
7. Okay. This is bearing in mind that you don't know who's coming,
I haven't got a clue.
and there's a couple there which I'm sure that you're thinking, well, if they come, there's only one place for them.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Um, and the next one could be one of those managers, and it's someone you know very well, and I know really
Yeah.
like. It's Joe Royle,
I'm gonna put Joe as number two.
number 2. Okay. No
I mean,
hesitation
Joe.
there.
Well, Joe's last manager to win a trophy, isn't he?
Yeah.
Play for the club. obviously I never seen Joe play, but I've seen pictures of him. I've seen heard
Videos. Yeah.
stories from my dad of him, and he was a big player for Everton, a great player for Everton. And then he's gone on and he pulled us from relegation, didn't he?
Mm.
And created the Dogs of War, and then brought in Andrei Kanchelskis. What a
Yeah.
in the last 20 years, probably one of the greatest players to put an
Yeah.
Everton shirt on.
It's like
So
bringing an Afghan hound into the Dogs of War, isn't it?
Joe, Joe has been a fantastic servant. He's done a lot of stuff in the youth. He's been a fantastic servant for Everton, and yeah, number
Number
two.
two. Okay.
Yeah,
I mean, just going back to that season,
yeah,
but it was actually the season before Joe left, and I can't remember. Was it 95, 96? I can't remember now. But we were so close to getting to Europe.
yeah.
I think Arsenal pipped as well. I think we played
That's right.
Aston
Yeah,
Villa. We played
yeah,
Aston Villa on the last, and I think we won, but I think Arsenal won as well.
yeah.
Um, and that, what did it feel like at the time? Because you were sort of in and around, weren't you? You
Yeah.
were very
So
part of the
I played
squad.
in the Villa game, but
Yeah,
it's a bit. We were talking before about the team now, and I remember that team was a good team, and it
yeah.
was a team. Um,
I'd
and
like
you
Gary Speed in, didn't it?
speed
And
going, yeah, and you felt as though you can't wait for the next game because you had a good team who could win a game. Whereas other
yeah,
games I've played in other teams, you were fearful sometimes
mm,
of leaving your slot in
yeah,
case
yeah.
you get done going
Someone
the other
took it.
way. But
Yeah,
with that team, there was different ways of winning, and I think
mm,
the team now I see isn't dissimilar from that team.
right. Okay.
Reminds me, but yeah, we were
Mm.
close.
Well,
Yeah,
let's hope we get as close as that again. Okay, number. So he's in number two, Big Joe. Number three on the list is Ronald Koeman.
oof, Ronald. To be honest with you. Everything about Ronald. Would you believe that I played against Ronald for Everton and
Really?
the Cup Winners'
Of
Cup
course. Yeah,
up at Feyenoord? Well, he
yeah.
actually played in that game,
That's
but
right. He did. Yeah,
and he was a
yeah,
great player, wasn't he? He
yeah,
was a
yeah,
great
yeah.
player. But everything about that, him coming to Everton, everything was wrong from the start.
Mm, mm.
You know
I
how
think he
to,
was the big thing at the time, wasn't he? And the
yeah,
actual logic behind him coming. But I think you're referring to maybe the fact that he didn't want to come straight away. He
yeah,
wanted to continue his holiday and all this sort of
yeah.
stuff. Yeah. Mm,
How it was portrayed in the press, and how us as fans were looking at it, thinking, "Hang on, you've just come from Southampton." And
mm,
you come into Everton Football Club.
mm.
You should be. I know you're a big name, but you've got to come and show that respect to the club. And he
Yeah.
started on the wrong foot. It really
Mm.
started on the wrong foot. And for me, in this what we're talking about now, he goes number 10 for me. Al.
Okay, that's controversial, but yeah, I get it. I mean, in contrast, we're talking about the one before Joe Royle, who I remember said when he joined again, joined as manager from Oldham, he said he'd have walked down the M62, to
Yeah,
get the
of
job,
course.
and that's the difference, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay, the fourth is again somebody you played for, was that Walter Smith. Where does
Ah,
Walter stand?
Walter was a great fella, wasn't he?
Mm,
Don't think anyone will have a bad word about Walter. Held himself in very professional.
yeah.
Had his way. Had a great number two. I'd probably put Walter. He was a great fella. I'd probably put him just one behind. No, one ahead of Roberto.
So you're going to put him
So
in
was that
six.
six? Number six, yeah.
Yeah. Number six. Okay. Okay. Now, there's one that and we have to cut you a little bit of slack here because you wouldn't have seen too much of him, but you'd have been around as a supporter, I think. Billy Bingham.
Yes.
Um,
Oh,
you'd have been a
so
kid.
yeah, it's funny, isn't it? It's not always because I'm getting older, but I can't really remember Billy Bingham at all.
No,
So
no,
I
I get that.
really, I really can't. My first manager from my era really was HK. So
Mm.
I don't remember Billy. So I could get shot here by a few Evertonians, but he's going to have to go in number 9.
Okay. Well, I'll be honest with you, and it's not really about my opinion here, but I think probably about right, really.
I might,
In the list of what's to
yeah.
come. And the
Okay,
next one is not going to help you any further anyway. But
go
Gordon Lee is the next one. Now, Gordon Lee, of course, was the one just previous to Howard. So
on.
does
Well,
that help at all?
I thought we were talking like when we started this out. Like, come on,
Yeah,
80s onwards.
yeah.
I can't remember Gordon Lee, but
Well, there's a couple that I didn't feel appropriate to put in there, because I didn't want.
yeah, brilliant.
So that's why there's
Okay,
a couple of spaces I needed to fill.
did you? All right. Well, Gordon Lee, for as good or as bad as he was, because as I say,
He was a bit of both,
yeah,
Gordon.
I haven't done my history on it, so a few of the older ones will be shouting down their phone at me, going, "Tony, you should have done your homework." But I didn't know good. This game you've played, I don't know who
No,
you're going to say.
no,
Um, okay, so number 8 is that gone?
no. You got number 8.
Go on, Gordon. Gordon has
Just
to
slotting
go
him
at
in a
number
good.
8.
Good. And again, I don't think many will argue about that, to be honest.
Oh, good, good.
There's one possibly. I don't know. Let's just see where we go. Okay, number 7 is going to be is going to be a difficult one. When I say number, I'm confusing people now with that numbering them.
Yeah, yeah.
The next one is going to be Carlo Ancelotti.
Oh, Carlo, brilliant, Carlo.
Yeah,
I mean, what an icon on the side. I mean, I think Everton, as we go on, I love watching someone who commands that class on the
yeah,
sidelines. I
yeah.
really do, you know. And there's not many of them, is there? There's never
Mm.
been one. But Carlos sits there.
Oh,
We know at the end
100%.
of the game he's got a cigar. Players love him.
Yeah,
Players
yeah,
absolutely love him, and he's not sitting there with a little, a little board with all kinds of Americans on it, is he? And
yeah,
tell, he's
yeah,
managing people because
yeah.
he's normally working with great footballers. He's just managed them as people. Um, so Carlo, I love Carlo. So Carlo is going in number 3.
Okay. Interesting. Number 3, okay. And just what you're saying there, I tell you the moment that sums that up with me with Carlo Ancelotti, and he looks like somebody I assume who, when he just has to speak and players will listen.
Yeah,
He doesn't need to announce himself. But that moment where we equalised or scored a goal or where I can't remember the goal, but Duncan's going crazy next to him, and he just takes a little sip of his tea or coffee,
yeah,
and
yeah, yeah.
the Don. I think he is the
What's all the
Don.
fuss? What's all the
Yeah,
fuss about?
exactly.
Yeah,
It's a goal.
it's a goal.
Okay,
Yeah.
so now here's where and I know you've been saving a spot, but the next on the list is the one and only Howard Kendall.
Number 1, and I think that's everyone's. Everyone,
Yeah.
I'd be surprised in the last. Would it be last 100 years? Maybe I don't know. But HK,
Well, Harry Catterick would run him close, I think. In
of
fairness,
course, yeah.
but you
But
don't.
I mean,
It's not your era. So
I actually Howard was the manager twice when I played for Everton,
yeah,
right? So I joined from school. Howard was the manager. I never played for him, but I trained
no,
with him, and I
mm,
was round the trade. I was round Belfield with him.
mm,
Um, his man management, unbelievable.
mm,
He treated everyone the same. He had friends who weren't even footballers who would come to the ground, and he managed that whole place
yeah,
fantastic.
mm,
He wouldn't have phonies around him. Out.
no,
He knew who to have round him. You know what I
yeah.
mean?
He didn't suffer fools, did he?
Didn't
Mm,
suffer fools. He was a proper fella
mm,
um, who gave us the greatest team for me going to school with
yeah,
your program, going to
mm,
game, getting your program, and being
yeah,
proud that you've gone to watch Everton. So number 1, Howard, yeah, and always will be, yeah.
yeah. Okay, no one's arguing there. Okay, number 9, or next in the list. Do you want to have a little recap
Yeah,
where
go
we
on,
are?
go on.
Okay, so you've got number 1, Howard Kendall. Number
Yeah,
2 is Joe Royle. Number
yeah,
3 is Carlo Ancelotti.
yeah,
There's no number 4 yet. That's clear.
yeah,
Number 5 is clear as well. Number 6 is Walter Smith. Number
yeah,
7 is Roberto Martinez. Number 8 is Gordon Lee. And number 9 is Billy Bingham. And number 10 is our good old friend
yeah. I'm happy with
Ronald
that, Al.
Red Christmas Tree Coleman.
Yeah, I'm happy
Uh,
with that.
okay, number 9. Sorry, I keep confusing that because
Next one.
the next one is the current manager, David Moyes.
Yeah, Moyes has been a great servant for the club, hasn't he?
Mm,
He's created a couple of good teams. I think he's on the peripherals of creating another good team here. Um, So he's been a great servant. So Moyes goes in at number 4.
Number 4, yeah. Okay. And I think when you look at that, there's an argument there because Ancelotti is Ancelotti.
Yeah,
Joe Royle, the last manager to bring a trophy,
yeah, yeah,
and the great Howard Kendall. So, yeah, I mean, I think you're about right. Okay, the last one, and this will be an interesting one. And don't forget, we'll tell the listener and the viewer that you have one chance to move one manager
yeah,
and put him back in. And I'm going with Sean Dyche.
yeah. I mean,
There's a couple of
Sean
things
managed.
to
Yeah,
consider here, isn't
Sean.
there?
He managed at a really horrible time, didn't he?
Mm,
As in all the PSR and points
mm,
deductions. And to be fair to him, he held himself quite professionally. To be honest with you, at the time, we had a lot of
mm,
board problems, didn't we? If you remember, a hell of a lot of board problems. Um, we were struggling in the league, and he kept us up.
mm.
Right now, Sean Dyche really is that type of manager. When you go into manage a big club, I think what he has got in his armory is the capabilities of setting you up and trying to keep you up.
Mm.
I don't think it goes further from that. But for the job he done at Everton, I think he's done a good job. I really do. I mean, I wouldn't have him in the number 5, which is where he's going to have to go now.
Yeah,
He wouldn't be ahead of Roberto or Walter Smith. He wouldn't be
right.
ahead of them too. Um, but he's in 5, and I give him some credit for the job he done in the way he
Yeah,
done it.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to. That's I finish on Sean Dyche on a positive for him really.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm with you on that. I think again, you've got an argument. So what that does then, now we've got the completed numbers, is that leaves you with a dilemma as to bearing in mind what you've just said. You've got Walter in at 6, Martinez in at 7, and Dyche in at 5. So if you are moving 5, if you are moving Dyche, which one is it that you're going
Well,
to swap?
to be honest with you, I'd probably move Moyes up. To be honest with you, because
Okay,
I've only got one. I'd swap Moyes and Carlo. I think
okay,
with this game you never know what's going to come. I never even thought of Carlo's name. I just love Carlo. I love
yeah.
if he come
Well,
back tomorrow, be made up. You know what I mean?
yeah,
But
you
for the
can't,
job,
can you?
I can't. But the job Moyes has done behind HK and Joe in the modern era. I'd say he's probably done the best job out behind them two.
Yeah,
He's never going to. You're never going to do what HK done.
mm,
You could do what Joe done. You could
yeah,
do that.
yeah.
And if he does that, he'd be right behind HK then.
Mm.
But he should be above Carlo and Dyche. I can't move Dyche, so
No, you've had your
in
one
fifth.
chance.
He's in fifth, and I can
There'll
only
be some letters
apologise.
about that, I
Well, I
think.
can only apologise that who's to Roberto. I'll
Yeah,
apologise to
Roberto.
Roberto and
Yeah.
yeah. But there you go.
Okay.
That's your game, and but there you
I'm
go.
sure. I'm sure Roberto will be delighted to have your apology.
Yeah,
Okay, so let's just final check on them then. So at number one, it's like when we do goalkeepers, isn't it?
yeah,
We know who's going in at number one, don't we?
yeah.
But so Howard Kendall is at number one. Number two is Joe Royle. Number three is now David Moyes. Number four is Carlo Ancelotti. Number five is Sean Dyche. Number six is Walter Smith. Number seven is Roberto Martinez. Number eight is Gordon Lee. Number nine is Billy Bingham. And number 10 is our old friend Ronald Koeman. So that's the list of 10, the blind ranking up to number 10 as far as Tony Grant is concerned. And I'm sure if people want to write in and people want to, make their comments and send their list in, but it's always easier for them. I say this every week. It's easier for them because they've seen the names now, whereas you don't. And that's the difficulty in this game.
Yeah.
We're going to have to come up with a new
Do you
game
know what we
at
should
some
do,
point.
Al? We should invite a few fans on this, shouldn't we? And we should have
Absolutely.
the blind contest at the same time, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So we can all have a number, and
Yeah.
now then they'll see how tough it is. Then.
Well, it's funny enough. We've had a couple of offers already from listeners who want to do that. So we'll
Oh, good.
maybe
That'd be
try and
good.
arrange that, and we'll get them in there.
That'd
But
be a good
as
laugh. That.
always, Joe, I really appreciate your time, and it'll be an interesting game tomorrow. I think I think if Everton were to win that, which, there's every chance they will, as far as I'm concerned, as I say, getting up into sixth, even if it is possibly for 24 hours, it's progression, isn't it? It
Yeah.
feels like we're getting
I
somewhere.
think
There's a
if you
little
go
bit
on a
of
match
light.
to, yeah, I think you go on a match tomorrow, be quite cold,
Mm,
probably damp in the air, and I
yeah.
think the fans will warm, the players will warm you up tomorrow because I can see them
Mm,
coming out from the whistle and just being 100 mile an hour. I can see
mm.
Keiran leading by example and everyone following. I see the centre halves winning every header, winning every tackle, chasing everything, and just being too much for Bournemouth until their white flag comes up. And once their white flag comes up, Al, then we can score a couple of goals.
I'm loving it. Well, ending on a positive, as always, the True Blue Everton podcast with myself and Tony Grant. We will be back probably Thursday, maybe Friday. Don't forget, there's no game this weekend because of Burnley, who we should have been playing their involvement in the FA Cup. But we'll do a debrief on the Bournemouth game, and maybe we'll get a guest on maybe over the weekend or something, Toe, and
Yeah,
try and do something a bit special. But for now, thanks very much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe and like on YouTube. You can get it also on Spotify. We will get it on Apple TV at some point, or Apple Podcasts at some point. We've just got to try and work out how to do it. We'll speak to you soon. Enjoy it, and we'll hear from you soon. Bye.